For many of us, the story of creation we learned, although powerful, is just a single narrative, and it often comes from the great Abrahamic traditions that form the foundation of Christianity and Islam. It has profoundly shaped how people perceive the world, our place in it, and our relationship with the divine. This story is ancient and influential, but it's just one story. Across the vast and wondrous continent of Africa, countless other tales of origin have been told for millennia. Each offers a unique perspective on the dawn of existence. These are windows into different ways of understanding life. These ancient African myths, as some like to call them, I prefer to call them creation stories, can fundamentally reshape our worldview, our view on creation, and even ourselves. By exploring these stories, we enrich our collective understanding. We begin to see a glorious tapestry of thought woven with threads of deep ecological wisdom and astronomical insight and profound social philosophy. Let us turn to a few of these remarkable narratives. The beauty of these stories lie in their diversity. For example, a story born in the dense rainforest of the Congo will feel much different to one conceived beneath the vast starry skies in the Sahel. Each reflects deep observation of the natural world and attempts to make sense of grand mysteries. They are complex cosmological systems that have guided generations. They provide answers to the most fundamental questions, such as where did we come from and how should we live in harmony with the world around us. In journeying through these stories, we explore not just the past, but possibilities for our future. They offer lessons in resilience, community, and respect for nature's delicate balance. They remind us our modern world remains indebted to ancient wisdom that saw the planet as living and breathing. As we listen to the voices of the Zulu, the Dogon, and the Yoruba, we open our minds to a more holistic and inclusive vision of our shared human story. It is richer, more complex, and ultimately more hopeful than we might have imagined. Our journey begins in southern Africa with the Zulu people. Their creation story does not start in a celestial void or a heavenly garden, but in a place deeply connected to the earth. Imagine a vast primordial swamp, a bed of reeds or ulanga growing by the water's edge. It is from this humble living plant that the first being emerges. This being is called Unkulunkulu, a name that translates as the Old One or the first ancestor. He is not forged from clay by a distant god, but sprouts forth from the reed bed just like the reeds themselves do. He is the original ancestor, the source of all that is to come. Unkulunkulu's emergence is not a singular dramatic event, but the beginning of a great unfolding. After breaking off from the reed, he brings forth the first men and the first women. Then he brings forth the animals, from the mighty elephant to the smallest insect. He creates the mountains, the rivers, the winds. Crucially, he also gives humanity its social structures, its customs, and its tools for survival. He teaches them how to hunt, how to build homes, how to create fire. In this narrative, creation is not an act of divine separation, but an act of generation, of life begetting more life, all originating from a single terrestrial source. The reed bed, Ulanga, is a powerful symbol. It represents not only a place of origin, but also a lineage, the source from which all life springs. This worldview fosters a deep sense of ecological kinship and respect. The earth is not merely a resource to be exploited, it is the great ancestor, the womb from which all living things emerge and come from. Every element of the landscape holds a piece of this sacred origin story. Furthermore, the tale of Unkulunkulu suggests a concept of continuous creation. The world was not made once and for all and then left to its own devices. Instead, the processes that Unkulunkulu set in motion continue. The seasons turn, the rains fall, and new life continues to sprout from the earth. This idea of an ever-present, ongoing creation embeds humanity within a dynamic and living cosmos. It teaches that our actions have consequences that ripple through this interconnected web of life. The Zulu story asks us to live with an awareness that we are participants in a world that is constantly being made and remade, a world that we share with all other beings who sprang from that same primordial reed. We now travel to West Africa, to the dramatic cliffs of the Bandiagara escarpment in Mali, home to the Dogon people. Their creation myth is one of extraordinary complexity and cosmic scale, deeply intertwined with water and the stars. The story begins with the supreme creator god Amma, who creates the universe from a single tiny seed. From this act of creation, other beings emerge. Among the most important are the Nommo, primordial spirits, often described as amphibious hermaphroditic twins. They are beings of water, the essence of life itself, and their story is central to ordering the world and the origins of humanity. The Nommo bring order and wisdom. One early creation introduces disorder into the universe. To restore balance, Amma sends the Nommo down to earth. They descend in a great arc, spiraling down like the sun's ray, carrying the seeds of all plants and the foundations of civilization. The ark is a microcosm of the universe, containing what's needed to build life and society. Their arrival purifies the land and organizes the world according to a divine plan. The Dogon myth is famous for its astronomical knowledge, especially about the star system Sirius. Dogon elders passed down knowledge of Sirius A and its companion, the dense invisible white dwarf Sirius B. They knew its 50-year elliptical orbit and its extreme density long before Western telescopes confirmed it. This knowledge, they say, was brought to them by the Nommo. Ancient alien contact, naked eye observation, metaphorical storytelling all point to a cosmology where science, myth, and philosophy are inseparable. The stars are active participants in the human story. The Dogon tale is about balance and the transmission of sacred knowledge. The Nommo teach the Dogon people agriculture, craftsmanship, language, and intricate rituals. Water reoccurs as the life-giving symbol, a medium of creation, purification, and communication. The Nommo's descent reminds us that complex systems, visible and invisible, govern the world, and that human society thrives when rightly aligned with cosmic order. Wisdom from the sky brought life and meaning to the land below. Our next story takes us to the Yoruba people of West Africa, in what is now known as Nigeria and its neighboring countries. Theirs is a vibrant pantheon of deities known as Orisha, each governing a different aspect of nature and human life. The creation story centers on the high god Oludumare, who resides in the heavens above a world covered entirely by water. Oludumare decides to create solid land and entrusts the task to Obatala. Given a chain, a snail shell filled with sand, and 5-toed chicken, Obatala descends towards the watery abyss. On the way, he stops, drinks palm wine, and then falls into a deep sleep. Seeing the task unfinished, Oduduwa takes the initiative. He descends the chain, pours the sand onto the water, and places the chicken on it. The chicken scratches the sand, and the sand starts to spread and expand, forming solid earth. This place is what is today called Ile-Ife, which translates to the spreading earth. Ile-Ife is the cradle of Yoruba civilization. Obatala later awakens and sculpts humans from clay. This myth introduces Ashe. Ashe is the divine life force, the spiritual energy, the power to make things happen. It exists in all things: gods, humans, ancestors, animals, plants, and even words spoken in prayer. The creation of the world is an act of Ashe. Orishas wield it. Humans access it through ritual and right living. Creation is a continuous process maintained by the flow of Ashe. The world is alive, responsive, and dynamic, and in it contains themes such as collaboration, imperfection, and destiny, because as Obatala stumbles, another Oduduwa completes the task. As such, the universe is shaped by actions and failings. Life is a complex interplay of forces and personalities. The world is made by many Orishas under Olodumare's distant oversight. Existence is a shared project. Divine and earthly partnership is needed in creating and sustaining the world. As we stand back and gaze upon these three remarkable stories, we begin to see a series of profound interconnected themes. Perhaps the most striking is the deep and abiding reverence for the natural world. In the Zulu myth, humanity literally sprouts from the earth like a plant. For the Dogon, life-giving water is the medium of creation. The Yoruba story begins with a world of pure ocean transformed into land. In each case, humanity is not positioned as a ruler over nature, but as an intrinsic part of it. We are not visitors on this planet. We are its children, born from its very substance. This perspective fosters a powerful sense of ecological responsibility and kinship with all living things. Another powerful thread is the idea that creation is not a finished event but an ongoing process. The Zulu see life as a continuous unfolding from the ancestral source. The Yoruba concept of Ashe portrays a universe animated by a constant flow of life force that must be maintained through ritual and action. This contrasts sharply with the notion of a world created in a set number of days and then left complete. These African cosmologies present a much more dynamic, living universe, one that is constantly being shaped, renewed, and balanced. This worldview encourages a sense of active participation, suggesting that our choices and behaviors contribute to the world's ongoing creation story. Furthermore, these myths emphasize that knowledge is a sacred gift, essential for the proper ordering of society and the universe. The Dogon's Nommo descend from the stars to teach humanity the arts of civilization and the secrets of the cosmos. The Zulu's Unkulunkulu establishes the social customs and survival skills necessary for life. For the Yoruba, the Orishas govern every aspect of human endeavor, from metalworking to divination. Knowledge is not something to be hoarded, but a force to be shared and used to maintain harmony. This wisdom is often deeply practical, combining spiritual insights with instructions for agriculture, astronomy, and community living. Finally, we see a recurring theme of life as a cyclical journey rather than a straight line. This is reflected in the turning of seasons, the cycles of birth, death, and ancestry, and the ritual calendars that mark the year. The Yoruba worldview, in particular, is steeped in the idea of reincarnation and the continuous flow of life between the spiritual and physical realms. This cyclical understanding of existence fosters resilience. It suggests that endings are also beginnings, and that life, in its many forms, persists through constant transformation. It's a hopeful and sustainable vision of life rooted in the observable patterns of the natural world itself. When we place these African myths alongside the more widely known creation stories of the world, we do not create a competition for truth. Instead, we create a richer, more complete picture of the human spirit. For too long, a single narrative has often been presented as a default, subtly shaping our collective consciousness and values. By embracing the diversity of origin stories from across Africa, we challenge the notion that there is only one way to understand our beginnings. Despite the different cultures, different landscapes, and histories, the wisdom held within these stories offer vital lessons for our modern world. In an age of ecological crisis, the deep sense of kinship with nature found in the Zulu myth of Unkulunkulu is more relevant than ever. It calls us to see the planet not as a commodity but as our progenitor. deserving of our utmost respect and care. We must have respect for cosmic balance and sacredness of knowledge, so that our scientific advancements are tempered with wisdom and a sense of responsibility to the whole. The Yoruba concept of Ashe teaches us that power is a life force that flows through communities, and that our words and actions have the creative potential to build or to disrupt harmony. Learning these myths is an act of reclamation and respect. It honors the intellectual and spiritual heritage of African civilizations, its philosophical depth and scientific curiosity, a heritage that has flourished across the continent for thousands of years, despite being historically overlooked and misunderstood. By listening to these voices, we expand our own intellectual and spiritual horizons. We become more capable of appreciating different worldviews and more willing to learn from them. This process of listening and learning is essential for building a more inclusive and understanding global community. Ultimately, the existence of so many different creation myths speaks to a universal human impulse, the need to know where we came from. Every society has looked up at the stars and down at the earth and asked, how did all this begin? The stories, rituals, creativity, and intellect all point to an enduring search for meaning. By welcoming these African creative stories into our understanding, we are not just learning about the past, but gaining broader, more flexible, and more holistic set of tools for navigating the challenges of the present and imagining a more balanced future for all of humanity. We have journeyed through just 3 stories from a continent with thousands of stories, and already our perspectives have widened. We have seen a world born not from a void, but from a reed bed, from cosmic water, and from scattered sand upon an endless ocean. We have met creators who are ancestors, amphibious spirits, a pantheon of gods working in concert. These narratives do not offer a single, simple answer. They open a door to 1,000 different ways of seeing the world, each one filled with unique beauty and wisdom. The enduring message is one of connection. They teach us we are not separate from the natural world, but woven into its very fabric. The Zulu tale places origins in the earth itself. The Dogon link destiny to the stars. The Yoruba show a world animated by a shared life force. In a time when many feel disconnected from nature, from community, from a sense of purpose and belonging, this message offers a hopeful alternative. It reminds us we are part of something much larger, a vast and ancient web of life that deserves our wonder and our care. This exploration is not an end, but a beginning, an invitation to remain curious, to seek out more stories, to listen with an open heart to other cultures. The world is a library of immense scope. On its shelves are countless tales of how things began. Each one adds to our understanding of the world and ourselves. They challenge assumptions, spark imagination, encourage mindful, respectful living. These stories are not relics. They are living traditions with timeless truths. Let us carry this newfound perspective. Let us look at the reeds swaying in the wind and remember Unkulunkulu. Let us feel the rain on our skin and think of Nommo. Let us see community action as Ashe, the power to create positive change. By integrating these insights into our modern lives, we honor the past and enrich our future. The story of creation is not over. It is still being written every day by the choices we make and the respect we show. In the end, these diverse myths and creation stories point to one truth. We are all part of an extraordinary, ever unfolding story. Ashe.